Welcome back to the Rogue Wave podcast, talking comics, movies, TV, and pop culture every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern on Facebook.com/Rogue Wave Podcast. That's Wave without an E. Subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts. Go to RogueWavePodcast.com. Here's the cool thing. I mean, we got not just one movie, but two movies that actually came out. One, you had to go to theaters to see, and that's an experience unto itself. The other, you can choose to sit at home and watch. I got to tell you, I missed being in the theater for Bill and Ted. I watched it on my phone.
You watched it on your phone? That's probably why.
Just because I'm on vacation, so it's not my house. Got to watch it where I can watch it. Ended up watching it on my phone. I missed the experience of being in the theater for this. I really did. I watch streaming shows on my phone, which are essentially 10-hour movies. But there's something about watching episodic TV that it's not that big of a deal to watch on a phone, at least in my head. But for a theater experience, I actually have to kind of agree with Christopher Nolan. Like, there are just some films, not that Bill and Ted necessarily is this film, but to me there was a noticeable, like, gee, I'm watching this. There was something noticeable in my head as I'm watching this, knowing this was the quote unquote opening weekend, and here I am sitting on a couch at the Jersey Shore, holding my phone up to my face and consuming it that way, and legally, and I paid my $25 for it. But I miss the theater, so that's really just an ode to theater experience. I hope we can get back to that in a semi safe and normal way. I know theaters are opening up, and there will be some films that we can watch in theaters down the line, which is great. But in this particular case, I did miss it. That being said, yes, I'm not going to tell you that it wasn't great that, I was able to just kind of click buy on iTunes and I got it, So it's definitely something to that. I don't understand the rent buy option when it comes to these video on demand things. Like, I'm sitting there going, all right, for $5 more, I guess I own it now. Why?
Yeah, but you have to always keep using that platform in order to get your money's worth.
Sure.
And so, personally, I don't trust the long-term viability of all these platforms.
Yeah, I just don't.
I don't. Like 20 years from now, am I going to get my $20 worth?
20 is that's a big rental number to know that you can't access it again. Do you know what I mean? Like, again, do I anticipate ever watching Bill and Ted Face the Music ever again? No, probably not. But at least I sit there and I'm like, all right, at least I've got it. It's in my library if I want to.
You didn't like it? You're saying?
No, I liked it. And we'll get into what I did. I'm just saying, before I even saw the movie, there's the buy option and then there's the rent option. And I'm sitting there going, the rent option is $20. Like, if the rent option was $5, I'd be like, boom, give me $5. I'll rent it for $5. The buy option was $24.99. And I sat there for the same thing.
That price tag is ridiculous.
For $5. Well, what's funny, though? Again, this is another shout out to James Massia of Plan 59. Coming to Kickstarter September 8th. He actually said to me, he goes, Mike, because I said the same thing. I was texting him. I'm like, yeah, it's terrible. He goes, Mike, if I wanted to go with my family, it would be $45 plus concession fees. Like, a family of 4 to go to the movie theaters is almost $50. And he goes, I get to rent movies right now, or I get to watch movies for $20. So he's actually saving money in that sense. So it's interesting. Obviously, if you're single or you're married without kids. No, I mean, if you think about it, you're going to take a date to a movie. I mean, you're looking at a $30 price tag to go do that if you're going to pay for your significant other or they're going to pay for you. So when you think about it that way, it's not.
Yeah, but whenever you parse that and you say, well, I would be, if I was dealing with these inflated prices on the, in the open market as opposed to dealing with these inflated prices in my home, then I would be getting screwed.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't change the fact that the prices are inflated in and of themselves.
Well, yeah.
It just alters the value of the inflation.
Right.
But it still doesn't address the fact that that there's inflation in the first place. That you're being gouged no matter what.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Gouged is a relative term. Just everything.
With respect to James, I disagree. I respectfully disagree.
So, I'll kick this one off. I am always man enough to say when I was wrong about something, right? I went out there and I said Deadpool was going to be a colossal failure, which in turn made it a colossal success. I've gone on and said,
Oh, you did that. That's
certain
you.
movies are going to be colossal successes, and they turn out to be colossal failures. So you kind of see where this is going, right? The teaser trailer came out for Bill and Ted, and you can go on record. You can go check out our library of podcasts. Go to Spotify.
I remember what you said.
Delivery method of choice. And I kind of sat there saying I felt really sad. Like it just.
I believe I argued with you about that.
It made me sad.
I was right.
Maybe it was the fact that I had been braced for it by seeing trailers. And so I was able to process the actors they've gotten older. Or maybe it was just because I actually saw a movie rather than a trailer.
Yeah, you just don't like old people. You're always complaining about old people. You're always
I was smiling throughout this film. I was actually, it got me excited. It was actually, as opposed to the teaser trailer, a treat to kind of see Keanu Reeves go back and be Bill and Ted again. And
so wait, are you saying you should see the material before you drop a snap judgment on it? Usually, is that what you're saying?
I did see the material that they presented to us, which was the teaser trailer.
No, you should see the full. Yeah, and then you judge the trailer. Is it a good trailer or not a good trailer? But But I also make predictions sure to go wrong. And really, well, okay. Hold on, I'm following your narrative, right?
Yes.
You're saying you were wrong. So
yes.
in following the
but I don't like the way you're saying it.
I know that's
you're saying it in a way that I don't approve.
Yeah, because I'm being intellectually honest about it, and you're being intellectually dishonest about it. Yeah, I am.
You're being a jerk, is what you're being.
But that's
usual sarcastic little.
That's me being intellectually honest. I'm not
down that route.
I'm not gonna say, hey man, you were right, don't worry about it. When we had an argument about that at the time, when I said, well, why don't we just wait until
you are relishing the comeuppance.
Of course I am. Why wouldn't I? That's being intellectually honest. I don't understand. I don't get your point.
Okay, I'm just saying you're
being totally honest about it.
And I don't appreciate that when I say. Accurate. I was not. Well, no, accurate's the wrong word. I was not.
Don't engineer conflict.
Wrong in the end, which very rarely happens. And in fact,
oh my God,
I can probably say that I was correct because.
Oh my God! Here we go.
But anyway, I was not sad throughout this movie.
That is presidential logic, there, my friend. That is
enjoying the film. It's not rocket science. It's not Citizen Kane. It was just Bill and Ted. Kind
of supposed to be
gleefully going into the future consistently to find the song that was going to unite humanity. And without giving away the ending, we're trying to be spoiler free, I guess, because you set the pattern. I'm not sure why, but that's okay.
You don't got to follow my pattern. I just didn't want to be a jerk.
The issue, of course, is what is the song going to be, and they kind of address it in a way that, while leaves you a little kind of like, leaves you a little meh at the end. It also kind of answers the question without having to ruin it, because there's no one genre of song that I think is going to unite humanity, which is kind of what they kind of said and how they kind of went about doing it. So you do get to learn about the song. You do get to learn how it unites humanity. You do get the question answered. So it's not a fruitless experiment.
That is kind of a spoiler, though. You did just kind of spoil it. So
but I don't say how it happens. I'm just saying you will get an answer.
You pretty much tell everybody that they actually achieved the goal that they were trying to achieve, which is
not a spoiler, though, because I don't tell you how it's going to happen.
Nobody really cares how. They want to know if, not how.
No, they want to know how.
No. That's not where the tease is, but okay, never mind.
I wanted to know how. That was the tease for me.
Yeah, well, that's you.
That was the tease for me. Well, that's why I gave you my non-spoiler review, which was a non-spoiler for me.
It wasn't, for you. Okay, yeah. And then you wonder why.
In the teaser trailer, they had that awful scene where they see themselves in the future as like big muscle guys. In the film, by that point, I'm just rollicking along joyfully to the point where I'm like, yeah, this is pretty fun. Like, this is just like every
step of that. As I suspected you would be.
Every step. What's that?
As I suspected you would be,
Look at you.
As I suspect, no, not you. Who cares about you? I'm just talking about in general.
Oh, okay.
You're taking an absurd movie.
Yes.
Because the entire premise is absurd. And you're taking it piece by piece and you're going, well, those scenes really don't make any sense, or that doesn't look,
Mhm.
then you're kind of, you're not understanding the point of it. It's supposed to be absurd. If you are familiar with the source material,
Of
then you
course.
understand. Okay, that's the same as the obnoxious, refrigerator logic of Indiana Jones. The nuke the fridge argument. Like, yeah, taken alone, if you've never seen an Indiana Jones film before, and someone says, "Oh yeah," and then he gets in his fridge and he survives a nuclear explosion, you'd be like, "Well, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard." But if you take it into context with the other 4 movies,
Correct.
the other 3 movies, then you're like, "Oh, well, that
You and I
sounds like
actually
Indiana
agree on
Jones."
that. Right. You and I actually agree on that.
So that's what
It
I'm
was the
talking
monkeys
about.
that ruined that movie.
Even the monkeys, as dumb as they are within canon. Because there's a lot of stupid things that if you take that minecart chase in Temple of Doom,
which
is completely physically absurd. Of course, it was awesome, but that was because
that was the difference between the monkeys and the.
No, it's because we were young and we were like, all right, sometimes you're going to have a minecart that that has a loop in it, and of course all minecars are going over oceans of lava. That makes perfect sense. Yeah, no, bull.
And the video game, man, that video game, Temple Doom video game, oh, so good.
Okay,
I
anyway.
used to pop a lot of quarters in that one.
Fair enough.
Some of our audience is like, what's
sounds like fun.
What's an arcade? What do you mean you put?
You didn't even say the word arcade. You said video game.
Right.
So now they're saying arcade.
Right.
What the hell's an arcade?
Right. Well, look at you. You're very
nice job.
You're very I stand corrected mode today.
I'm just paying attention to you.
You should be more sluggish.
Yeah. Okay.
You're wiser.
Now, you know what? This is a change in our dynamic because I'm going to be like this from now on. I'm going to be like, no, that is wrong, sir. I'm going to fact check you every time you say something.
This is vacation mode, Mike. So this is much different. Now, what was your take? Did you enjoy as much as I?
Of course, I enjoyed it. I absolutely enjoyed it. There are aspects of it that I think are a little uneven. Whatever. But how are you going to jump on a Bill and Ted? We weren't supposed to have this movie.
Right.
30 years later, you get a Bill and Ted movie. It's not supposed to happen. It's not supposed to be good. It's not supposed to be interesting.
Right.
It's supposed to become passé and irrelevant. It's supposed to be one of those situations where everybody goes, well, are they actually serious about trying to recapture the nostalgia of Bill and Ted? Are they serious about this? And look, some of it might be because of our circumstances, our COVID circumstances.
Well, I was going to ask you that question. That was my
100% open to 100% open to the idea of something new. It's also a very hopeful film.
Yes,
which is rare.
Which was
that we get these days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, it's arguably. I don't like the term. I don't like to use this term. It's arguably a step down for Keanu Reeves, who's had like billion-dollar blockbuster movies such as the Matrix trilogy, such as the John Wick phenomenon in the Keanu-sance that we're living in now. Mm-hmm. So he did not have to make this movie.
No.
He made this movie because he wanted to make this movie.
Correct.
Right? So he goes back to his roots, because he got
Happy
famous
birthday, Keanu,
from,
by the way.
He got famous from Bill and Ted. That was among the earlier movies that started making him become a household name.
Right.
And he did credit to himself as a character. Jonathan Winter stepped up to the plate. He was just as Alex potent
Winters?
on the screen. No, same guy. Same guy. It's the same guy.
Not so fun on the other end of these I stand corrected things.
But that happens all the time. I'm not, but I'm not embarrassed about it, because I'm,
because we can't see your eyes. Being. You're crying underneath there.
Yes, I am. I'm in tears. Anyway, so Alex Winter is just every bit as potent and every bit as present, and he doesn't seem like he's trailing behind. They didn't give him less to do as like a kind of a nod to what came before. A lot of people talking about him like he's not the big star that Keanu is, but he's also a producer and a director. So it's not like he's not a figure.
I was reading up on him actually, and he talks about being sexually abused in Hollywood as a kid. I mean, he talks about, he actually
some bad stuff.
Pulled himself out of acting for this exact reason and he's like, I prefer to be behind the camera. He's like, I don't really want to be in front of the camera anymore. He has this whole book out. It's actually it was a really interesting read about his history.
Yeah. So it's
Again, not to be
probably
down
like a
on this.
little bit of a struggle for him
Yeah.
to do it. So it was really great. Their daughters were fantastic.
I really liked them, and I was gonna. That was my second.
Hugo
question
Weaving's
for you.
niece, which was interesting.
What's
that Hugo Weaving's niece is plays Bill's daughter. So now you got Mr. Anderson and
Gotcha.
Agent Smith.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of a nostalgia nod.
Yeah.
Yeah, you often don't see movies about father-daughter relationships. It doesn't happen that often, so that was pretty cool.
I also kind of enjoyed the fact. At first, I wasn't sure about them basically kind of being like, because I felt like it was a sequel trope to basically make them exactly like Bill and Ted. But they're just it's such an amicable personality to be, to kind of exhibit that you just can't help but kind of root for them too. My only nitpick in the band that they go out to create is what they couldn't find someone to play John Bonham. Like, didn't make sense to me. You have the greatest drummer, Neil Peart. Now he passed away this year, so it might have been too soon. But you could have gotten Neil Peart too. Neil Peart's the greatest drummer of all time, or John Bonham. Those are my only, that's you're forming the greatest band of all time. I mean, Neil Peart is probably the most technically proficient drummer that we've ever seen.
Couldn't have, but I mean, it wouldn't make sense as a time travel movie to have every icon that you get together from the same era,
No, I understand that, but that's my...
So, I mean, it just obnoxiously would not be... It just wouldn't make any sense. It would be a misutilization of the time travel, backdrop of
it
the story.
It didn't make sense also, too, because yeah, anyway. Neil Peart. Greatest drummer. No, you're not getting any arguments, right? John Bonham, I'll accept John Bonham, but that he's a different sound.
I respect the fact that that's your opinion, so you're allowed to be as wrong about that as you want.
Mike,
anyway,
who's your top drummer of all time?
My top drummer of all time.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite drummer. Now, are you asking who my favorite drummer is, or are you asking who I think the greatest drummer in the world is?
The greatest drummer in the world.
I think I don't know. That's like asking who the greatest bassist in the world is.
The answer is Neil Peart. It's easy. An
Neil
acceptable
Peart
second answer is see, here's the thing, right? You can like Dave Grohl more than Neil Peart.
Peart never played the bass, though. So
no, not the bass. I'm not asking you about the bass. I'm asking about the drum.
I know, but you messed that up. So I'm there to take advantage of it.
I'm just saying.
I'm
Dave Grohl. You could like Dave Grohl as a drummer more. You could like Matt Cameron as a drummer more. But you also will recognize that as it is amongst all.
Do you know who Buddy Rich is?
He just is.
Do you know who Buddy Rich is?
Yes, I do know Buddy Rich.
Okay, have you heard his playing?
Yes, he's amazing, and in fact, Neil Peart does reference him. But Buddy Rich was not lowered into his drum kit every night, so
So that has nothing to do with talent. You're just talking about spectacle. You're just slavishly adhering to spectacle, and you're not talking about talent.
I would accept Buddy Rich because he was the inspiration, but Neil Peart is by far better.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, no. By your definition, so is Tommy Lee, because he was in a drum set that.
Yeah, but he's not actually as good.
Spun 365 degrees. No, who's to say?
I am.
Who's to say? The spectacle is better, right?
Neil Peart is better. Neil Peart is better.
Which is why this discussion is asinine in and of itself. Anyway,
it's just. Look. It's a given. Go.
Yeah, dude. I get you. I understand what you're saying. You're manufacturing yet another conflict, but you're absolutely dead wrong.
Stop being right all the time. That's why I gotta throw you a bone and admitted at least one.
Throw me a bone for being right. Like I don't have to fight to be right in this.
Good about yourself.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Otherwise, look, being right all the time.
You help me feel good about myself. Gotcha.
It's boring after a while.
Anyway. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Yay, nay, or meh?
I don't care anymore.
That's always your response. You're always like you're the take the ball and go home guy. No one likes that guy.
I don't want to play with you anymore guy. I'll stay in the playground and play with the other kids.
Because a lot of people took their ball away from me. And
yeah, maybe there's a reason for that. I thought it was yay. It was a yay.
I'm going yay also. I know, but I want definitively. One day I'll make
whatever.
We'll have a
I
yay
got
May.
you.
All right, let us know what you think. We give it a big yay. We thought it was great. A lot of fun, nostalgic. Not even just nostalgic. It was, it was a perfect film, especially considering the times we live in. Ironically, yeah, I'll get to that next segment. Yeah. Tell us what you think. Comment on the Facebook feed. When we come back, we go spinning the racks.